Hello students, how are you? I hope that you will be fine with your parents and enjoying with the study. Now, in the previous class, we have discussed about the what is solar system and what are the different constellations. Also, we have a different discuss about the inner and outer orbits. These things we have finished in the previous classes. Now we are going to discuss in detail about the different planets. And first we have started with the Mercury. Now here you can see that Mercury is also in Hindi it is called as a Buddha, and it is the nearest planet to the sun and the smallest planet present in our solar system. Whatever the planet, there are eight planets are present. Out of that eight planets, this Mercury is the nearest planet to the sun, as well as it is the smallest planet present in overall the solar system. Now it is very difficult to observe it, as most of the time it is hidden. It is hidden in glare of the sun. Because of the presence of their sun, it is not visible. So most of the time, it cannot be observed very clearly because of it is hidden in the glare. Now, when Mercury has a no satellite, it is the planet where there is a no satellite is available its own. These points are important. Number one, it is a nearest planet. Number second is it is a smallest planet present in overall this solar system, and it is also difficult to observe because of it hidden in the glare of the sun, and Mercury has a no satellite of its own. Now these points are important, which you have to note down in your copy. Now, the second planet, which is known as Venus, and Venus is also in Hindi it is called as a Sukra. Nearest planet to the Earth, again, it is the nearest planet to the Earth. That means in the Buddha is the nearest planet to the Sun, whereas the Venus is the nearest planet to the Earth, and it is the brightest planet visible in the night sky. Whenever there is a night sky, at that time it is very clearly visible, and it is also called as a um, morning or evening star, although it is not a star. It known another name. It is known as a morning or evening star, though it is although it is not a star. Whereas Venus rotates on its axis from east to west. See, well, the direction of the rotation of this Venus is basically west, and Venus has no moon or satellite of its own. Venus is again there is a no moon or satellites of its own. So it is about the Venus. And the third planet, which is known as Earth. Earth is the only planet in the solar system where life is exist. Everybody knows we are living on the Earth. Now, second one is known as Earth appears blue green due to the reflection of light from water and land mass on the its surface. There is a question also can be asked why the Earth appears blue green. Then the reason is it is a reflection of light from water and land mass on the surface. These are the two reasons. Because of this, the Earth appears blue green. Now, the third point is the axis of rotation of Earth is not perpendicular to the plane of orbit, as we can observe that it rotates. If we have seen a globe, and if you rotate that, it looks like a perpendicular to the rotation of on the axis, but it is not actually the rotate the perpendicular to the plane of its orbit. It tilt is responsible to change of what the position of the earth, which we can observe on the globe very clearly. It is slightly tilt, and that is responsible for the change of the season on the earth. It is only one moon or satellite of its own. It has only one moon. We can call is we are observing in the earth, there is only one moon, or we call as a satellite of its own. Now, these points which you have to remember. Now, in case of Mars, Mars is also known as a Mangal. In Hindi, it is called as a Mangal. It looks somewhat reddish, so it is known as a red planet. There is a planet called as a red planet, and the actual name of this red planet is basically Mars. Mars has two small natural satellite on the in the Mars. There is a two moons, or we can say there are two natural satellites. Now, if we talk about the Jupiters, Jupiter is called as a Brihaspati. Brihaspati is the largest planet of the solar system. As in the previous cases, I told that Venus and Mercury is the smallest planet. Where Mercury is the smallest planet, and whereas the Jupiter is the largest planet of the solar system. It rotates rapidly on its axis. Wherever these planets are present, it rotates on their axis very fast. Now, Jupiter has a large number of satellites, and it has a faint ring. You can observe here, it has a faint ring around it. We can see here there is a faint ring, and it is about 1300 times larger than that of the Earth. It is as far as it is the more larger as far as the Earth, and its mass about 318 times that than that of Earth. That means it is so heavy from the Earth also. Now it is all about the Jupiter, which you have to remember. Now there is a Saturn. Saturn is also known as a Sunny. In Hindi, it is called as a Sunny, and it is a yellowish colored planet. You can see here there are the beautiful ring. You can observe here there is a beautiful ring. You can observe here, and which are not observed in any other planets. This is the characteristics of the Saturn, and it is the least dense among all these planets. Whatever the planets are present, that means eight planets are present. Out of the eight planets, it is the least dense among all these planets, and its density is less than that of water. That means if we talk about the density of the water is around 1 kilogram per liter, and the density of this planet is very less as compared to water. So another planet that is called the Uranus, and here Uranus, it is one of the outermost planet of the solar system. As I already told, there are the two parts of the planet, and one parts which we have already inner parts which we have already discussed, and the outer part which we are discussing here. And we are talking about the Uranus is the one of the most one of outermost planet of the solar system. The most distinct Distinctive features means there is the different types of the features. Uranus is that it has a highly tilt rotational axis. That means if we talk about the earth, that I told that earth is rotated on their axis, and it is slightly tilts towards the one from the axis. Now whatever the tilt position of the sun earth from the axis, it is when we talk about the Uranus has a um, highly tilt rotational axis. That means it has it the rotational point is a very tilted position. Now here there is only one characteristics which you have to remember. Normally we are talking about the whole planets in detail. Just we are just providing information so that you can understand what are these planets are all about. Now here when we talking about when we talk about this Neptune, it is the outermost planet of the solar system. It is given here. Go through. This is the basically we call as a Uranus, whereas this is a Neptune, and some other celestial member of the solar system that is called asteroids. And as we already told, there are in between these planets, there are the some space in among these spaces. There are the some kind of the also small planets we can see is so it is a part of the solar system. When we talk about the asteroids is basically the small rock-like substances that are orbiting around the sun. That means this place is here. It is, you can observe very clearly, this is the sun, and around the sun there is a space, and in between the Mercury and the sun there is a space, and wherever there is a space in between, these asteroids are present. And basically these asteroids are basically a small rock like substances. It is found a large gap in between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter. It is found in large gap between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter. Means in these two planets there is a space, and in between that space the asteroids are found. Now this question is can be also asked that it the where the asteroids are found. The answer is it is found in between the Mars and Jupiter space. Now they are visible only through a large telescope. These can be seen by only the large telescope. Now when we talk about the comets, they revolve around the sun in the highly elliptical or circular path. They revolve around the sun in highly elliptical or circular orbit. That means all the planets are revolving around the sun, but the elliptical path of this planet, this solar system is more high as compared to other other planets. It looks like as if it has a bright head. It looks like as it has a, you can see here, it has a bright head with long tail. This part is basically a long tail. You can see here, this is the long tail, and it is being seen that the tail keeps growing in size as it keeps approaching towards the sun. That means when it rotates from the on their circular path, elliptical path, when it reaches the sun, this the size tail keeps growing in the tail of the comets is growing in size as it keeps approaching towards the sun. So it is all about the what we call as a comets. And there is another term that is called the meteoroid, meteors and meteorites. These are the two another kind of the things which we have to also discuss here. One, there is a meteors. There are a small object that sometimes enter these kind of the basically planets which enter into the Earth atmosphere, and these are the small objects. It occasionally entered the Earth atmosphere with very high speed. As you can see there, there is a kind of the object which is moving towards the Earth, and this kind of the object is matters, and the speed of this kind of object is very high. Due to the friction of the Earth's atmosphere, it glows, then evaporate quickly. Here, whenever these kind of the planets reaches into the Earth atmosphere, what happened there is a friction started, and with that friction, it this planet is basically grown, glows, and whenever these glows, it evaporate quickly. Now that is why the bright stick these last for a very short time. That you can observe this kind of the there is a bright stick we can observe for a very short period of time, because when it glows it evaporate quickly. When it glows it evaporate quickly. Now, when we talk about the meteorites, there are the leftover object that reaches the Earth. These are the leftover the object that reaches the Earth. It is a kind of the object which reaches on the Earth. The meteorites help scientists in investing the nature of the material from which the solar system was formed. On the basis of these meteorites, the scientists investigate the nature of the materials from which the solar system was formed. So it is all about the some kind of the research which you can observe from the telescope. There is a uh, s- uh, what we call as a artificial satellite. This is the last part of your chapter. After that there is a question answer. So this is the very very theoretical parts which you have to answer. What do you mean by artificial satellite? After that, what are the different artificial satellites, and what is the different uses of these artificial satellites? Now here the artificial satellites are the kind of the satellites which is made by mans, and these artificial satellites revolve around the Earth. Number one point. There are the different kind of the artificial satellite till now the scientist has made and established on the surface on the sky, and these artificial satellites named as Aryabhat was the first Indian satellite. uh, the Aryabhat was the first Indian satellite, number one. Some of other Indian satellites like Insat, IRS, Kalpana 1, and EduSat. These are the some common name of the satellites which is established in the on the space. Now here they are used for what purpose they are used. There are the different purpose they are using here. The forecasting of weather, number one purpose, to understand what are the what is the weather condition of a particular area that can be predicted by this artificial satellites. There is a televisions emitting the televisions whatever we network we can see, and that is just because possible just because of these satellite, and there is this radio signals also. We are have a radio signals by which we can listen the radios. There are the other also use of these satellite is telecommunication, and like mobile and remote sensing, that is sensor, or we call as a the earthquake. These kind of the things we can observe through these artificial satellite. So it is all about the this chapter. Again, I am just want to repeat. In this chapter, there are the number one things which you have to understand: what is the celestial body. Second things, phases of moon, and the different position of the phases of the moon, what we call as. And also we have to understand the constellations, and different kind of the constellations and their formation, their structures. Also we have a discuss about another things which we have a discuss, that is called uh, solar system. And in solar systems there are the eight planets we have discussed, all these planets. And other than these eight planets, we have discussed about the asteroids, comets, meteorites, meters and meteorites, and artificial satellite. These are the some basic things which we have discussed in this chapter. It is all about whole the chapter. Now we have a important things, that is called as your question answer. All the question answer is mentioned here. Question is also written as well as answer is also written. Go through all these question answer. I don't think I have to discuss these things very clearly. All the things are written here. If you have a proper understanding, clear understanding about the previous lecture, then you will be able to solve these questions very clearly. So it is questions. You just go through all these question answer. All the things are mentioned here. Everything is given here. You match the following also given here. Venus, if it is visible as an evening star. Name the largest planet of the solar system. What is the constellation? Name any two constellation. Draw a sketch of the relative position of prominent stars, Ursa Major, and these. The Ursa Major is mentioned here. You can see here Ursa Major. It is Ursa Major, and this is the Orion. And in case of question number 11, name the two objects other than the planet which are member of the solar system. You just go through these, the two objects other than the planets member of the, that is comets and asteroids. Explain uh, how you can locate the pole star with the help of Ursa Major. Location of the straight line, as I already told during this, that is called this, the straight line in northern direction. You can just find out the Ursa Major. And do all the star in the sky moves. Explain. No, all the star do not move. The movement of all the star in the sky is from east to west except pole star. With respect to earth, the pole star looks stationary because it is located above the axis of rotation of the earth in the north direction. Why is the distance between the star expressed in light year? Because it is more larger, because it is away from large distance from the earth. so it cannot be expressed in the kilometer. That's why it is shown in the light year. The distance in between the stars and Earth are stars in a range of millions of kilometers, and since that much of distance cannot be represented in kilometers, so these distance cannot be expressed in the hence the distance between star is expressed in light year. You can remember one light year is the distance traveled by an op, by a light in 1 year. uh, that means one light year is the distance traveled by a light in 1 year, and one light year is equal to that value. You have to also remember if you want, but 9.46 into 10 to the power 12 kilometer is the overall the value of this light year. A star located at 8 light year means 8 light years means the distance between the star and earth is equal to the distance traveled by a light in 1 year. In this figure, 8 light year will be equal to 8 multiplied by this quantity, and that will comes under 7.6 into 10 to the power 13 kilometer. The value which differs is here 13.13 10 to power 13, 10 power 13 kilometer. It is all about this chapter. The this is again a solution. The radius of Jupiter is 11 times. As we know that the volume of any sphere is 4 by 3 pi r cube. 4 by 3 pi r cube. 4 by 3 pi r cube is the volume of any sphere. And if since the radius of the Jupiter is 11 times, so the volume of the Jupiter is 4 by 3 pi, and in place of r here the 11 r cube is put here. Now 11 r power whole cube. Now if these two terms are divided, the 1331 oblique 1, and that means the Jupiter can be accommodated 1331 number of the earth. So this is basically the answer of this. The Bujo made the following sketch and the solar system in this figure is given in your book, and it is incorrect. Given this figure is basically incorrect. Now we have to correct it. Now the before here it is sun, and nearby their sun there is a two position are mentioned here, which is incorrect. So what you have to do, nearby the sun there is a Venus and there is a Mercury. After there is Mercury, after the Mercury there is a Earth, and Earth. After that there is a Mars, and then Jupiter, then Uranus, Saturn, and then Uranus. After that there is a Neptune. So the correct order of this from the Earth from the Sun is this one. So in this way this can be changed. Now the sketch between made by the Bojo is not correct because of the this answer is given before in the previous. It is a different way the answer is given. You can note down. So it is all about these chapter of the solar system. Now we will start the last chapter of your syllabus, that is air and pollution, water and pollution, and the next class. So thank you for today. We will have a next discussion in the next class. Thank you for